now it is time for a little segment that we like to call Film Review. Huh? Pretty good.
It's pretty creative. Right? We worked hard on that.
We locked ourselves in a room this whole off season to come up with that. And then I think you just at the end of it, you go, hey, what about Film Review?
Film Review.
Like, you know what?
And then I went, how about Film Notes?
And then,
And then we went, no, Film Review is better.
There are 10 people in a room. It's like, Chris, good one.
Yeah.
So here's Film Review. We're going to go through some quick hitters here in a little bit because I want to get your opinion on a lot of the rookies that we got out there at different positions.
Yep.
But can I start with the quarterbacks?
Of course you can.
And I want to start with the number 1 pick in Kyler Murray over there with the Cardinals. So you've looked at film on all these guys, right?
Right.
So you've got good opinions as you always do. Let me just give everyone out there, in case you missed it, what he did in his first preseason game. 6-7, 44 yards, and 10 total plays during that first drive of the game. He was sacked one time for a 5-yard loss. He wanted to take the team on a scoring drive. He was very vocal to Cliff Kingsbury and the coaching staff that, hey, keep me in. I want to go another series, try to orchestrate a scoring drive. They did not allow that to happen yet. So he wanted to stay on the field, but when he was out there, numbers looked pretty good. How did the film look?
It looked like the number 1 pick in the draft. I mean, a guy that, this is why Arizona took him and traded away Josh Rosen, because you can see the special gifts that he has right from the start. I mean, it's apparent. From the very first throw, just how quickly he can get the ball out of his hands. And, between that, the look in the pocket, the comfort level, the way the ball just absolutely explodes out of his hands. I mean, hey, throwing out routes to his left, bam, on the money. Out route to the right, bam, on the money. On the run to the right, you can just run full speed and flick it with no effort, on the money. His one incompletion was a scramble getting outside of the pocket where the receiver stepped out of bounds and then came back inbounds. He threw that ball on the screws as well. So I just think from everything I saw, and again, I'm not about stats. I don't even care if he went 2 for 7 and all on these throws or whatever it may be. He looked the part. Physically, when he tried to escape the pocket, you could see the speed is real. And he didn't look as small as I thought he would look within the pocket either. He's got a presence about him. He plays bigger than 5'10". And because he's such a gifted thrower, he can find lanes. And I think that's the thing. I saw him get his arm up high one time to throw a ball, and then I've seen him throw, sidearm, whatever he wants to do. But the physical gifts are there, and he's a special player, and just will be shocked if we don't continue to see special things from him.
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
So you like what you saw in the first first outing for Kyler Murray?
I'm not going to judge any of these too harshly, regardless. But that was outstanding. Yes.
And the fact that he goes into an offense that he's familiar with, more familiar than his teammates are, because it's an offense that was
huge
similar
advantage.
to what he ran. Do you think that there's a better chance that he can get off to a good start and have a better rookie year because of, one, the skill set that he has, and two, the offense? I mean, are we looking at, you would not be shocked if he threw up one of the top 10 quarterback rookie seasons of all time?
No, I would not be shocked. I don't know if they have enough help around him. That would be the biggest question, to continue to further evaluate their offensive line. Can they run the ball good enough with David Johnson just to keep people honest that way? All those things will dictate how well he does. But either way, he's got special talents that we haven't seen come into this league. And your point to what you're saying with that offense, I mean, I can't remember a rookie quarterback coming in that type of situation. It's really amazing. And it makes him feel comfortable. And you could tell he's comfortable. As where I looked at other rookie quarterbacks, when they're kind of getting to the line of scrimmage and they're changing a play, you could see that second of pause, like, they know what they want to do, but they can't spit it out of their mouth yet. And they're like, check, check. He was like instantaneously lifted a leg, didn't see what he liked. He was directing traffic right away. Why? Because he knows the offense inside and out. He's not even having to change the system. And everybody's looking to him for the answers, which also empowers him even more to be like, yeah, I'm the man. I got the answers, and I'm the young guy here. So all those things positive. And they would be rolling. I mean, they would have a lot of sleepless nights if they didn't draft him and they saw that game somewhere else. They would be like, oh, my gosh, we might have made just the biggest mistakes of our career. So good thing they drafted him number 1.
All right, so far so good.
Yeah.
So far so good for another rookie quarterback, a top 6 quarterback, number 6 pick in the draft.
I see you're looking at me with a little twinkle in your eye like, yeah, you might have got this one wrong, Chris.
No, I don't think that. I mean, obviously, everyone thought it was too high at the time with Daniel Jones to the Giants at number 6. But I did say after that week, and because I am right once every 25 times, but I go, he has to be better than what we're all all saying.
Yes,
because
right.
we crushed the pick so much, and we
right.
thought it was too high, which maybe it'll prove to be too high in the long run. I mean, that chances are good because the number 6 pick is super high. But he's not the worst quarterback ever taken in the first round of the NFL. He was 5 for 5 in his first game, 67 yards, a touchdown. His only series ended with a 12-yard touchdown pass to Benny Fowler. I know you don't care about the numbers, so what'd you see on the film?
But again, the numbers match what you see. And another guy where I just looked at, okay, he belongs. Okay, he's very comfortable. It wasn't like deer in the headlights, like, oh gosh, this is too much for me. I mean, he's a pure thrower. He threw the ball better than I gave him credit for. And I knew going into the game that there was going to be some things that he was going to do well. I've heard too many positive reviews out of New York training camp. One from my dad, who was there last week. I think my dad's been there multiple times, who said, ooh, yeah, Christopher Daniel Jones he's more talented than I had given him credit for. And I know they were raving about him in the OTAs and all that too. But either way, what you saw there, smooth throwing, perfect spirals, accuracy on point. And again, ball popping out of his hand. Now, I'm not going to say it was like popping out of his hand like Kyler Murray-ish, but still impressive enough to go, oh, there's a 20-yard out route on the money for a touchdown, in the back right corner of the end zone. So I wish we would have got to see another drive, but either way, he might be the most impressive guy of the weekend, not because of what I just saw physically, but because of all the things you said. There was the most pressure on him. I mean, if he threw an interception in that first drive, holy crap, would he have heard it? We've been talking about, did they mess up the number 6 pick? So, one, they did a good job of orchestrating a drive, calling some plays that I think were friendly to him and that he felt comfortable with. But two, he made some great throws. Not only the touchdown throw, he throws a big deep cross pass too, where, I look at little things like this. So many times as a rookie quarterback, you drop back and go, oh, the number 1 receiver, he's not open. Oh gosh, and you start to panic. And you look at number 2 and you don't give number 2 a chance because number 1 got covered so quickly where you're not even giving 2 the proper time. So all of a sudden now you're off 2 and you're on to 3 and 3's not ready, and all of a sudden scramble, or you got to throw the ball to the back because everything's out of whack. He throws a deep cross. I can't remember who he threw it to, but number 1 was it open, and he just sat there and just said, okay, number 2 is not where I want him to be, but I can see he's going to be open. And he stood there in the pocket in the throwing position, patted the ball another 1 or 2 times, bam, throws a strike on the sideline there, 20-something yard gain. Those are the things I go, ooh, the guy's got to feel he's not a robot. And that's when I say he was very comfortable being out there. It wasn't deer in the headlights where, hey, we've seen other quarterbacks. I could go to Drew Lock in the Hall of Fame game where I would go, yeah, there was a few deer in the headlight moments where he was just like, oh, gosh, I don't know where to go with the ball. I'll just throw it over there. I didn't see any of that from Daniel Jones, so good for him.
I think he's got the proper personality to be able to handle this. He seems very self-deprecating. From what I hear from people that know him after this game, he says, yeah, there's a couple things I messed up the first couple of plays. When you're playing with good players, though, it helps to make up for it. And so he already is, even though he was 5 for 5, 67 yards, he's like, yeah, I screwed up a few things. And it was my teammates that helped me out. And I almost wonder in a way if that whole idea of him being overdrafted and not worthy of the number 6 pick, in a weird way, it's not fun while you're going through it, but it takes some of the pressure off because number 1 pick in Kyler Murray, he's got a ton of pressure to produce.
Yes,
a lot of people think he's going to be good. He's got the number 1 pick tab on him now.
Won the Heisman, all that.
Daniel Jones, almost in a weird way, it's like, yeah, everyone thought that I shouldn't have been the number 6 pick, and now all I got to do is go and prove them wrong. And if I don't, then they'll just be like, yeah, that's what we
Yeah, that's what he thought. Yeah, you're right. It does. You can look at it either way. The pressure's off because he has nowhere to go but up. But yet the pressure's on because, he's under a microscope, and a lot of people don't think he's the number 6 pick. But it doesn't seem to affect him at all.
Yeah.
And I think it was a real positive with the way he looked.
After what you saw in week 1 of the preseason, still, caveats around. Do you feel like the chorus of we want to see Daniel Jones on the field will grow with Eli Manning?
With Eli,
still there as a starter.
With his falters, yes, I do. I think if he continues along this line, it's just going to give the fans more confidence to call for him if we're in week 3 or week 4 and the Giants have gotten off to a 1-3 start or a 1-2 start. It's just, good games are going to put pressure on that situation to go, okay, we're 2-4. We're not going to the Super Bowl. We know what Eli is at this point. Move on. he can put pressure on the whole organization and the situation itself if he continues to play the way he did last week.
Giants fans going from, I can't believe we took this guy, to like, we need him to save our season.
Yes,
he is
the one thing, and I know Eli Manning has fixed his throwing motion too, worked with a baseball coach. I've heard good things about him in training camp too. And again, from my dad being one of those people. But I think that one thing that leads to that stuff for Giant fans too is you see Daniel Jones go in there and you just go, man, his arm looks fresh. The ball looks like it's popping. Well, yeah, a lot of quarterbacks are going to look like the ball pops out of their hands after watching Eli Manning for the last 3 or 4 years kind of just throw balls all over the field.
Yeah.
And that's why Eli, he's going to have to play well to keep his job.
Daniel Jones, despite that, probably won't start in the beginning of the year. We'll see how that goes. Dwayne Haskins, maybe.
Yeah,
Washington
maybe
has a little bit better shot of starting week 1, although Jay Gruden has said that Case Keenum and Colt McCoy are a little bit ahead of him so far. He was 8 of 14. He got to play quite a bit, Dwayne Haskins.
Yes, he did.
8 of 14, 117 yards. Did throw 2 interceptions versus the Browns. You've seen the tape. What'd you see?
Yeah, well, big, powerful man. The biggest thing I'll take away from one of the biggest knocks that he had from the draft was his movement. He's not a good athlete. He ran a 5.2 at the combine, which was not a good look. I get that. But the film never said 5.2. And the film never said, oh, he can't move around in the pocket and make things happen. So I think that was the first thing I took away. He scrambled a number of times. He had people around him a few times, kind of moved in the pocket and made throws like that. His arm is real. It's going to stress defenses out. I say this a lot. A good offense, a good quarterback make you defend the whole field, right? You can't play like one certain area. Oh, this guy likes to throw it short, or this guy likes to throw it between the numbers. Dwayne Haskins is not going to allow you to do any of that stuff. I mean, his first play of his career is bootleg, roll right, 25-yard laser down the field, down along the right sideline. You know, his next throw is 4 verticals, and he throws a ball in between the corner and the safety where, you know, most young quarterbacks and most coaches teaching young quarterbacks, let's not even worry about that throw right now. But he just does it so nonchalant. Oh, it's okay, 30-yard laser in between the corner and the safety. Bam, completion. The guy ended up fumbling. Either way. So there's plenty of things right there where he's going to strike fear into defenses that I go, ooh, I like all of that. Now, there's some raw moments, definitely. I mean, hey, the second interception, it was bad. He's throwing a seam route down the middle. Not only is the throw bad, he locked onto the receiver. The safety was cheated over to that side already. He should have played the other side, but he's young, and he's only played 1 year, and these are all the things we thought. The first interception, the one that got the pick 6, actually less concerning to me. He made the right read. The play is there.
Wheel route to
the tailback, right. He had him coming out of the backfield, had the look he wanted. He just didn't throw the proper ball. That one does not concern me. Okay. If he just let the play develop a little bit longer and threw the ball downfield, the guy was going to outrun the linebacker, and he's probably going to have a big gain. Or you throw a laser at the guy and kind of back shoulder him before he gets to that linebacker, so that linebacker can't pick six it. So he kind of got caught in between throws there. But either way, I would be encouraged with what I saw. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is going to start the season. You know, I know it's an open battle, and they're going to continue to say that. I fully expect it to be Case Keenum, who looked good too, by the way. And then a little bit like we just talked about with Eli Manning and Daniel Jones. We get to week 4 or week 5, and they're 2-4 or 1-3. Hey, they're going to go, the Redskins aren't going to the Super Bowl. Then you might see Dwayne Haskins. But I still think you could see some people jumping off sides. The pauses I talked about at the line of scrimmage when he was changing plays and things, you could tell it just wasn't natural to him and flying out. He was getting it done, but he's thinking a lot still.
Sure.
So a lot of good. I certainly was not discouraged by the 2 interceptions. I'm more encouraged by what I saw from Dwayne Haskins.
I don't know if it was you or Mike on PFT who mentioned the fact that the Lions were poking around at the number 8 pick of going quarterback. Was that you?
That was me, yes.
So it would have been Dwayne Haskins.
It could have been. I've heard the name Daniel Jones in that conversation too, right?
Been still
so
available.
Maybe maybe the Detroit Lions are one of those 2 teams that Dave will get him and said, I know for a fact that 2 teams were going to take this kid before pick 17, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's who he is. But I do know that the Lions were doing their due diligence on the quarterbacks and were thinking about it. So, yeah.
Yeah,
no doubt.
He impressed a rookie that you said didn't quite impress, perhaps, in his first showing.
Right.
Is Drew Lock. a quarterback out of Missouri that you were very high on.
Definitely.
Higher than most people on going into the draft. Ended up going to the Denver Broncos. Played a ton. Threw the ball 28 times in his first preseason game. 17 to 28, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception against Seattle, who was playing Paxton Lynch. It was like ghosts of
Christmas past or John Elway past.
Quarterbacks.
Seriously, Paxton Lynch looked good.
But what'd you think of Drew Lock, who also was sacked 3 times and ran the ball 3 times for 11 yards?
Yeah, I mean, much better and again, I'll say this, even in the Hall of Fame game, I don't care that the results weren't that great. I go for the look at first, Does he have a presence in the pocket? When he does move, am I going, ooh, he moves well? When he does throw the ball, does the ball pop? I don't expect guys to be, striping, strike after strike after strike, just on the money type throws in their first preseason game. And certainly, just like we talked with Dwayne Haskins, Drew Lock the same way. I mean, I don't think Drew Lock was really coached his senior year in college. He just went out there and played football and just made it happen. So there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve there. But I thought the second game against the Seahawks was much more impressive. I mean, he didn't miss throws where I just said, oh, come on, you got to hit that throw. There was a few of those in the Hall of Fame game where you went, man, come on, man, he's open. You got to hit that.
Yeah.
This game, I think he took advantage of all those situations. I still don't think he's comfortable. I saw enough and watched him enough on film last year to go, hey, he's just not letting it fly right now. Where, for an example, if last year in Missouri, if he had a guy 30 yards open down the middle of the field, he would have thrown his laser and just hit him in the chest.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a guy open 30 yards down the middle of the field. He's kind of like, oh, let me just lay it in there so he'll catch it. So that tells me he's thinking, he's trying to be careful, he's trying to be perfect, all of those things. But I do like the athlete. I do like the arm. And I think it's all going in the right direction. And I thought it was a pretty good performance in Seattle.
So those were the higher drafted quarterbacks. Drew Lock falling to the second round. But what about?
Yeah, we got to talk about this one.
Jarrett Stidham?
Yes.
The future Tom Brady replacement?
Well, I mean,
who may buy his $39 million home in the Massachusetts-Boston area. And I don't know. He is. So Tom Brady is selling his house.
I know. Well, he's going to have to give it away to Jarrett Stidham because he doesn't have $39 million yet. Not yet.
Not quite yet. He could maybe rent out a room.
Yeah, well,
Jarrett.
I
14 to 24, 179 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yes. I knew we were going to talk about quarterbacks. And our asshole producer, Matt Casey, came in and said, we're going to break down all the rookie quarterbacks. So we got to talk about Jarrett Stidham, right? Yep.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Matt Casey.
Matt Casey didn't like you.
Yeah, I know he did. But so what? He has to deal with it. But
he doesn't have a microphone right now.
Yeah, right. Deal with it. But, I mean, might have been the most impressive rookie showing of all.
Oh, really?
I mean, the way he played, again, his physical ability is not Kyler Murray, okay?
He's not doing that. Daniel Jones may be the best.
But I'm just talking about,
and Kyler Murray, you're pretty high on.
I am high on it, so I'm throwing out praise to all these guys. I was blown away with Stidham. Stidham's was every bit as good as Daniel Jones.
He was as good as Daniel Jones.
It was every bit.
Okay.
Now, I thought he was every bit as good as Daniel Jones coming out in the draft, too. So maybe I'm biased, and we'll continue.
Okay.
But I think as anyone listens to me, they're going to start to, if I was biased, I would have found some negative about Daniel Jones because, I was kind of negative in my draft, research and all that. But Stidham, I mean, you talk about poise in the pocket, big throws. I mean, he made a few throws where I went, damn, that's NFL like week 5 of the season throw. Standing in the pocket, talk about the poise again, people around him not getting off reads too early. Oh, here comes an in cut 20 yards down the middle of the field. Yeah, there's a little hole for it. If I just throw it high and give him a chance to catch it, bam, he puts it right on the money. I mean, he really reminded me of Jimmy Garoppolo and his mannerisms, too, the way he played. But you got to be excited if you're a New England Patriots fan because I do think this guy has the skill set and brains to possibly be that Brady replacement. This is a guy, I'll stand by this, and I've said this before. He was a first-round pick 2 years ago if he comes out at Auburn. When they were good, the team was good. But you know what? The team wasn't good. It filtered into his play. It made him look like a little bit of a disaster altogether. He had some of the worst pass protection I saw, and he didn't have a great senior year. But, man, he's in the perfect spot. You could tell he's taking the learning. And, yeah, his arm has some serious pop. I mean, it does. I'm not going to say it's Dwayne Haskins, but it's not Kyler Murray, but it's the next level down. It's right there. It's a stronger arm than Daniel Jones. So, yeah, I really liked what I saw from from Jarrett Stidham. I'm just trying to think if there was anything, you know.
Well, he's when he is 23 years old.
Yeah, a little older,
there's
right?
A better chance that he was going to hit the ground running.
Yes.
His first preseason in the NFL.
Yep. Had 3 awesome throws, dropped for a touchdown pass. But my big thing that I starred was his composure in the pocket, like I was talking about with some of the other guys. Didn't rush through reads. At times, things were off, but he could tell through the big picture of the defense, ooh, this guy's going to be open if I just stand here for a second longer. And he did it and delivered the ball on the money for the most part. Like, really, really impressed with the way he looked.
Huge caveat.
Yeah.
It was against the Detroit Lions.
Yes, I know.
It looked not
That looked horrible. I know. It did not look good. But I'm not going to let that dictate anything. And like I said, some of the throws, people were covered or it was a tight window, and he just didn't flinch and just threw it right in there. So pumped about what I saw from him.
Stock rising on Jarrett Stidham. Although if you've been listening to Chris Simms, he's been high on him for a long, long time.
Yes, I have.
I want to wrap it up with a non-rookie quarterback. Was a rookie last year. New team, though, Josh Rosen.
Right, yeah.
13 to 20, 191 yards, 1 interception, was sacked twice, did direct 3 scoring drives of 60 yards or more. So the team scored with him under center. The way you said there makes me feel like you're about to be like, he was fine.
He was good. Wasn't great. He's got room to improve. And again, I say this with everybody knowing, this is a guy that's in his second year. He's on his second team, and he's learning a system that is one of the harder systems to learn in all of football. He made a few nice throws. He throws such a pretty ball. He can be so accurate with things he does as far as placement of the ball. The things that I wrote down that kind of bothered me, I think the most, he was over-aggressive. He was a little over-aggressive at times. And Brian Flores made some comments the day after the game. I wish he would stop being such a gunslinger. Yeah, there was a few throws where you go, the guy's covered down the field. Don't throw it to him. There's somebody underneath. Just hit it. Move on. Let's get 3 or 4 yards, and we'll go to 2nd and 6.
What's good aggressiveness and bad? I mean, because in this talk here, you've talked about, I wish he'd take some more chances.
Yeah, right.
Josh Rosen does take a few chances, but then you look at the chances he took, and they're low percentage ones.
Yeah, well, when a guy's like totally smothered on the sidelines, right, and you've been looking at him for 5 seconds, and he's still not open, don't just throw it to him just to go, I was aggressive, right? Like, oh, great, you were aggressive, but it wasn't worth the shit. So don't be. Get off it. Move on to the next read. I felt like there were some plays where he was looking to, like, take this competition by the reins, and I'm going to show everybody. And
because Ryan Fitzpatrick is the starter.
Exactly right.
He played just a little bit, 20 yards. And Ryan Fitzpatrick as a starter is you can beat him out. But once you beat him out, Ryan
you better watch out.
As the backup is probably
he's dangerous. He becomes a gunslinger and fearless again, right? But the first play he's in on the game, he's got a play that we would call ride 134 go. It means 2 go routes on the outside. That's what New England terminology is. He's got a go route, and the tight end's going to run a deep cross. The go route's covered. He won't get off it. He just keeps looking at it, because he wanted to throw the go route.
Is this stuff you've seen from him from last year?
No, last year, no. I think this is something new. A totally different situation. But I would have just been like, all right, the go's not there. Get off it. There's your tight end coming across. You had a 20-yard completion, but you were obsessed with that go route, and it ended up being an incompletion where you just forced it for no reason because you wanted to throw it. Right. There was a slant-flat combination one time. He wanted to throw the slant, but the quarterback teaching and the defense said, throw the ball to the flat. They've out-leveraged the guy to the flat. If you threw it to him, you would have got 6, 8 yards. Instead, he sits there, nowhere to throw the slant, ends up getting sacked. Little things like that. I think I might have had one other one. But, other thing you got to take into account here. He did not have great pass pro when he was in there. I did think overall, his throwing is pure. He shows more talent with his arm. His decision-making was not top-notch. And like I said, he was a little jumpy in the pocket because of the pressure, and I thought he hung on the first read a few times a little too long. But he can get over that, and I think that's a battle that still has a lot of mileage left in it.
And this is why I love preseason, because a lot of it you got to throw out, right? With veteran players, you throw out.
Yes.
It's just like you can't tell a whole lot. But it's the first time we've seen these quarterbacks in an NFL environment, win a game that kind of matters with a lot of guys out there that are trying to make a team.
That's right.
you can learn some stuff.
That's why I say the look. You know, it's not. I'm not going to just overanalyze and okay. You know, this guy gets in and he's playing with his second team offense versus the first team defense. All of a sudden, yeah, it's a disadvantage. It might not look great statistically when all is said and done, but I'm going to look as the guy look physically capable of being there. Can he do some special things? Yeah. Is he making the right decisions even though there's nothing there to be had? Those are the little things you look at.
Do things I didn't think he could maybe do.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
For
right.
Sure. Okay.
Exactly right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.